The sun had just started dipping behind the hills of suburban Oregon when I found the wedding invitation in my mailbox. Thick ivory cardstock, cursive gold lettering, a wax seal with an ornate E. Emily always had a flair for the dramatic. I traced my fingers over the envelope for a moment, not out of excitement, but dread. I already knew what was inside. My sister Emily was getting married in December, and she made sure everyone knew it. Weekly Instagram countdowns, group chats flooded with venue photos, floral arrangements, dress fittings, and even a bridal brunch livestream. But up until now, she had been strangely quiet about one thing, whether my daughter Lily was invited. I opened the envelope. Inside was the expected over-the-top invitation. You were cordially invited to the wedding of Emily Louise Cartwright and Jason Edward McNeil. 2 lines down, in delicate italics, I found the gut punch. Adults only. No guests under 18. I stared at the line for a long time. My throat tightened. Not even a name, not even a courtesy mention. Just a rule. A rule that excluded my 17-year-old daughter, the same girl who had painted Emily's kitchen last summer during her renovation meltdown, the same girl who babysat Emily's dogs while she went ring shopping with Jason. I walked into the house slowly, closing the door behind me. Lily was at the kitchen table, headphones on, hunched over a laptop. She was editing one of her digital art pieces, something she did for hours. When she noticed me, she smiled, like she always did. "Was that the wedding invite?" she asked. "Is it all fancy like Aunt promised?" I hesitated. "Yeah," I said finally. "It's fancy." She laughed. "Do I need to pick a dress?" That was the moment. The moment I had to choose, lie and protect her, or tell her the truth and risk breaking her heart. I sat down across from her. "Sweetie, Emily's doing an adults-only thing. No one under 18. She blinked. "Wait, what?" "She says it's a venue policy. Liability issues. That's the reason she gave me." Lily's face tightened. She didn't cry. She didn't pout. She just nodded slowly, clenched her jaw, and turned her eyes back to her screen. I reached across the table. "I know it hurts." "She could have just said she didn't want me there," Lily said quietly. "No, that's not." She didn't even call. Not even a heads up. She knew my birthday's in 2 months. I wanted to defend Emily. I wanted to pretend it was all a misunderstanding. But I couldn't. Because Lily was right. And it stung like hell. That night, after Lily went to bed, I texted Emily. "Hey, got the invite. So just to be clear, Lily's not allowed." Her reply was swift. "Love you both. But yeah, under 18 rule. It's the venue, not me. Hope you understand. Sparkling heart." I stared at the message, rereading "not me" over and over. Emily always did this, hid behind excuses. It wasn't her fault, never her choice, always someone else's policy. I typed back. "Then Lily and I won't be attending. Hope it's beautiful." I didn't wait for her response. And I didn't cry. Not that night. Not until 2 days later, when I overheard Lily talking to her best friend on the phone, pretending she didn't care. Pretending it was fine. Pretending she hadn't already been sketching designs for a dress she wanted to make herself. That's when the quiet rage took root. Not the loud kind that makes you scream. The kind that simmers. The kind that waits. The week of the wedding came with a chill that settled deep into the Oregon fog. Social media was a circus. Photos of manicured hands holding champagne, blurry videos of Emily laughing on the dance floor of her bachelorette party, and endless comments from distant cousins. "Can't wait for Saturday. It's going to be the wedding of the decade." Lily deactivated her Instagram account on Wednesday. I didn't ask why. We didn't talk about the wedding anymore. Not in words. But the silence filled the rooms like smoke. It was in the way she passed by the hallway mirror and didn't glance at herself. The way she avoided the mail, the way her music grew louder, more aggressive. It was in the extra 10 minutes she stayed in the shower. Grief disguised as routine. On the morning of the wedding, I made pancakes. I even added blueberries, her favorite. She barely touched them. "So, are we doing anything today?" she asked without looking up. "Thinking of taking a drive," I said. "Somewhere with trees. No cell service." She nodded. "Good. Don't want any notifications." By noon, we were in the woods. A small state park we'd visited years ago. Lily used to collect leaves and name them. Today, she just walked beside me quietly. I brought a thermos of cocoa. She didn't drink any. Meanwhile, Emily was walking down an aisle in a designer gown. I didn't need to see it. I knew exactly how it looked. She'd sent me 500 photos during fittings. And now she was probably posing beneath an arch of white roses, Jason's hands awkward on her waist, their faces aching from forced smiles. I wondered if, for even a second, she noticed our absence. The following Monday, I returned to work. Emails, spreadsheets, meetings. Everyone was buzzing about their weekends. No one asked me about mine. Except for one coworker, Jess, who had seen a tagged photo from the wedding. "Hey, wasn't that your sister's wedding?" I nodded. "Looked fancy," she said. "It was. You didn't go?" I hesitated, then smiled. "We had other plans." She blinked, clearly confused, but didn't push. The truth wouldn't fit into a water-cooler conversation anyway. Then came the first fallout, my mother. She called on Wednesday, voice laced with disapproval. "Karen," she sighed. "You didn't even come for the ceremony." "Neither did Lily," I said flatly. "Oh, come on. It was one day. Couldn't she have just stayed at home? We would have missed you, but at least you could have been there for your sister. She's 17, Mom. 17, not 5. And she was left out for a wedding where she helped pick the playlist. It was the venue, honey. It was a choice," I snapped. "And I made mine." There was a pause. "I just hope this isn't something you'll regret," she said softly. "I won't." We hung up after a few awkward pleasantries. But the calls kept coming. Aunt Lorraine wanted peace in the family. Cousin Bree said she was so sad not to see me. Emily, finally, sent a long text. "I really missed you. I hope this doesn't come between us. I didn't mean to hurt Lily. I thought you'd understand." "Understand what? That excluding a teenager who loved her aunt like a second mother would be okay? That hiding behind policies made betrayal less painful?" I didn't respond. Instead, I watched Lily sketch one night, shapes of women in gowns, long shadows behind them, bright lights above. One of them looked just like Emily. She didn't say a word. Neither did I. Something was building in me. A need to answer the silence. Not with anger, not with words, but with something they wouldn't forget. Christmas was coming. Our turn to host. My house. My rules. And I had a plan. December in Oregon was always heavy with rain, but this year, the sky seemed to hang lower. The days bled together in a wet gray fog. Christmas loomed like a test. Normally, I loved it, carols, the smell of cinnamon, pine needles stuck in the carpet. But this year, it felt loaded. Like every string of lights carried weight. Emily had RSVP'd weeks ago. "Can't wait for the apple pie. Jason's obsessed with it, you know. Love you." Her text had said. As if nothing had happened. As if we just missed her wedding because of a dentist appointment. I didn't reply. I just made a list. This Christmas was mine to host. I've been hosting every third year for almost a decade. The whole family was coming, our parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, even great-uncle Dean with his endless World War II stories. Everyone except Lily's name was on the wedding guest list. Everyone except Lily had smiled for those staged wedding photos and soft focus filters. So I made changes. Small ones. The first was the seating chart. The table in our dining room fits 14. I set 12 places. The second was the gift list. I usually spent days choosing presents for each person, personalized, thoughtful. Not this year. For some, there were still gifts. For others, none. Especially for those who looked Lily in the eyes after the wedding and never said a word. Then I crafted a single, quiet bomb. I wrapped it in silver paper, tied with twine. No tag. I placed it at the head of the table where Emily would sit. Inside the box, a printed photo. It was one Lily had drawn, a stunning piece of digital art showing a faceless girl standing outside a ballroom, watching others dance inside. Rain fell around her. The girl's shadow stretched long across the marble. I placed the drawing on a white background, had it printed on glossy stock, and wrote only one sentence beneath it. Sometimes, the silence is the loudest thing in the room. Christmas Day arrived. The house was perfect. Decorations glowing, music low, smells of turkey and rosemary everywhere. Lily wore a deep green sweater, her eyes guarded but steady. She helped set the table, arranged the desserts, then disappeared into her room when the doorbell rang. I didn't stop her. Emily breezed in first, all bright energy and layered perfume. Jason followed, laughing too loudly. My mother brought her signature cranberry sauce. The cousins filled the room with noise. Everyone was in their usual roles, acting out the same script. But the moment we sat down, something shifted. 12 chairs. 12 settings. One missing. Emily noticed first. "Wait, where's Lily?" "She'll join us later," I said calmly. "Oh, okay," she said, clearly thrown. Then her eyes landed on the silver package in front of her plate. "What's this?" "No tag," I said. "But it's for you." She opened it slowly. Everyone watched. As she lifted the photo out of the box, the room fell quiet. The image, haunting and unmistakable, spoke louder than any toast. Her hands trembled as she read the sentence beneath it. No one said a word. Even Jason looked stunned. I didn't look away. Neither did Lily, who had silently returned and stood leaning in the doorway, arms folded. Her eyes locked on her aunt. Emily placed the photo down and looked at me. "Karen, I didn't mean to hurt her." "I know," I said. "But you did." She looked down. "It was just a rule." "No," I said quietly. "It was a choice." The meal resumed, but something had cracked. Forks clinked against plates. Conversation struggled to find air. The festive buzz had dulled. And for once, Emily wasn't the center of the room. Lily sat next to me, plate mostly untouched. She didn't smile, but she didn't look away either. After dessert, Emily approached her. "Lily, I'm sorry. I really am." Lily nodded once. "I know. I didn't think it would matter that much." It did. A pause. "You draw beautifully," Emily said. "That picture, it broke me." "Good," Lily replied, her voice calm. "That was the point." And with that, she turned and walked back to the kitchen. The silence left behind was thicker than any snowfall. The days after Christmas felt unnaturally still. No calls, no texts, not even a thank you message from anyone. Normally, Emily would have posted a slideshow by now. "Magical Christmas at my sister's house. Christmas tree sparkles, love my crazy family." But this year, nothing. Silence. And it suited me fine. Lily, however, seemed lighter. She didn't say it out loud, but I could tell. The tension in her shoulders had loosened. She laughed at a meme during breakfast. She played her music out loud again. She even started a new art piece, something abstract and vibrant. I didn't ask what it meant. I just watched the colors pour out of her like breath she'd been holding for too long. Then, one chilly Thursday afternoon, I got the email. It was from Emily. Subject: "Please read this." I sat down with my coffee, fingers hovering over the trackpad before finally clicking it open. "Karen, I've been thinking about what happened. About Christmas. About Lily. You're right. I made a choice, and it was a cowardly one. I told myself it was the venue's policy, but I didn't fight it. I didn't even ask if exceptions could be made. I just wanted things to be perfect, to go smoothly. I thought teenagers don't care about weddings. I thought she wouldn't notice, or wouldn't care. But I was wrong. That drawing, it destroyed me. I cried in the car all the way home. Jason kept asking what was wrong, and I couldn't explain it. Because how do you explain that your niece, your family, looked at you and saw betrayal in its purest form? I don't expect forgiveness, but I do want to make it right. Please let me try. Love, Emily. I reread it 3 times. Part of me was still angry, fiercely, righteously angry. But another part was tired of carrying the weight. Later that night, I showed the message to Lily. She read it in silence, then handed my phone back to me. "What do you think?" I asked. She shrugged. "It's a start." "Do you want to see her?" "No." "Maybe later?" "Maybe." She didn't need to forgive her right away. That wasn't the point. The point was that her pain had finally been seen. Acknowledged. That mattered. A few days into the new year, a package arrived at our doorstep. No note, just a small canvas wrapped in brown paper. Inside was a painting, an original from a local artist Lily followed on social media. One of her dream pieces. Lily gasped when she unwrapped it. "How?" The signature on the back was unmistakable. E. Cartwright. She didn't say anything. She just stared at it for a long time, eyes soft, unreadable. Then she went to her room and hung it above her desk. Weeks passed. Spring crept in. Emily and I exchanged a few emails, short, careful ones. Nothing close to what we used to be, but not cold either. A space had opened. A bridge not fully built, but no longer burned. Lily turned 18 in April. We threw a party. Small, intimate, mostly her friends. Emily wasn't invited, but she sent a card, handwritten, no glitter, no calligraphy. Just raw words and a simple line at the end. "I hope one day you'll let me sit at your table again." Lily didn't say anything, but she put the card in her drawer, not the trash. And somehow, that meant everything. Epilogue. They say families break slowly, through little cuts, small choices, words left unsaid. But sometimes healing comes the same way. A drawing. A seat left empty. A card not thrown away. We don't speak of the wedding anymore. Not because we pretend it didn't happen, but because we don't need to. Lily doesn't need closure packaged in a neat bow. She got something better. She was heard. She was seen. And in the end, she got the last word. Not through screaming, but through silence. The kind that echoes.